No, I have not read the book. Whenever I do a review of a movie that's an adaptation and I say something negative about it, everyone goes, well, it was in the book. That doesn't mean it worked in the movie. For example, in my Nick and Nora's Infinite playlist, I said the sex scene was unnecessary and all I got was a bunch of idiots saying there was sex in the book. Now, this is obviously a very popular book, and I hope the book is a lot more well written than this movie, because if there isn't more to the plot in the book, I really don't know why it's so popular. There's really nothing to this movie at all. And of course, the first hour is her meeting him, and it's so awkward. And he's a very strange boy, so she goes and does research, and that drags on forever. The film really isn't really creative or clever at all. Of course, there's that scene where she goes, "You're a vampire, aren't you?" And then it just turns into this really creepy, uncomfortable romance where he says really creepy stuff like, "I've never wanted someone's blood more than yours, and I watch you while you sleep." And instead of her getting out of there like a bat out of hell, she goes, "I can't afford to lose you." And it was really weird. And maybe it would have been a little less weird if somehow they were somewhat attracted to each other earlier in the film, because like I said, it's about an hour leading up to that, and really the whole thing was, I don't even know if they ever became friends. He was just kind of following her around, and she's like, "Hey, you're weird. Why are you so weird?" And all of a sudden, she's like, "I must have you. Come here, big boy." And mainly through the whole film, they seemed kind of uncomfortable with each other. It was never really a casual romance. They had chemistry, but not romantically. This is just a very bizarre, strange film that it has its moments. It starts out with promise, but really, it's just, there's really nothing to it. It spends most of the time being this really weird romance, like I already said, and then all of a sudden it shifts into action mode with these very underdeveloped villains. Well, there's really not much of a backstory behind them. They're just, "Oh, I'm going to take her from you, and you're going to chase after me." Then we're going to have this very poorly shot action scene where we throw each other across a room, and then the film's going to go on for about 20 minutes and bore the heck out of you. I remember I saw like Kristen Stewart back in the day in like her first movie, Catch That Kid, and ever since then she's been getting these little roles in these okay films. This is like her first big leading role, and this is a very hype movie. I don't really see why, but yeah, she's an okay actress. In this, there's a few moments where she was really overdramatic. I mean, there's a scene in the hospital where I was about laughing. She's like, "No, you can't do that!" Now, I haven't read the book, and don't say that I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't read the book. Like I said, it doesn't freaking matter. I'm talking about the quality of film. If it was in the book, all that means is that the book sucks too. There's just a lot of parts in this movie where I thought it could have been a lot more, like actually have somewhat of a plot. There's this film just drags on forever with just these two characters, and I get it. It's a romance, I guess. Then one day she goes and plays baseball with his vampire family, and then these 3 vampires come out, and they're like, "Oh, let's duel." There's a lot of unnecessary crap in this movie, and some of it's okay, but it's really not the important stuff in this movie. Like the stuff between her and her father, I like that. And stuff between her and her friends that we don't really see all that much. And that's a lot earlier in the movie. Just the character of the guy, Edward, I don't really know the actor's name. He has a terrible American accent, by the way. I've seen him in an interview. He's foreign as heck, but really, I don't know why he couldn't have kept the accent. I know, he's a vampire. It's weird. It's not somewhere in the film it was going to somehow be more casual, and they were going to, like, gain a relationship. And it's just like the whole time, it's like they act like they love each other to death. All of a sudden, they're just like, "Oh, we're going to be together forever." But it seemed like through the entire movie, at any moment, he could have killed her, and I would have been surprised. This whole film, he just had this really sadistic look. And I don't know what's wrong with the makeup department in this movie. I get it, they're vampires. They can have the evil, gray, paley, doomy face. But Kristen Stewart had that face, too. I don't know if she's like that. I don't know why they couldn't brighten her up. I don't think that was on purpose. It was just kind of weird. This movie has a really doomy mood to it. Cinematography is kind of cool, like the backgrounds, the gray sky and all that. But it's kind of depressing. Like the very first line of the movie is like, "I've always wondered how's it going to die," or something like that. I'm like, ugh. You might like this movie if you're a big fan of the books. I know tonight at the theater, a bunch of these very unintelligent sounding girls left the theater like, oh my god, it was the best thing ever! But all I know is that if I was a fan of the books, like all these people are, I would be disappointed. It's like Spider-Man 3, but with vampires and creepy romances. The dialogue is just really weird. And when it's not like really sadistic and like, oh, I'm gonna drink your blood. I mean, he seriously says that. He looks at her and goes, I've never wanted someone's blood more than yours. And she's just like, I'm not afraid of you. Come here. Even the dialogue outside of that, like her friends, they don't talk like any teenagers I've ever met in my life. The whole thing is just blah. You know, it's not horrible, but it really isn't anything to go rush out and see. Go see something better. Go see Quantum of Solace. Go see Rock and Rolla. Go see Bolt. I haven't seen it yet, but it got great reviews, and I'm probably going to see it tomorrow. Not to stereotype or anything, but it's kind of obvious that girls are going to like it more. It's just alright. There's really nothing to it. I just sat there like, alright. Just never really all that exciting. And when it all of a sudden turns into an action movie, I'm just not into it at all because it's been so much time. The first hour, you know, setting up this relationship, they really didn't do anything. And then it becomes this weird romance. And then all of a sudden, it's, let's go kick some butt. What? It needed to focus on something more. It could have been an action movie, but they actually need to have some depth into this villain dude. He all of a sudden showed up and he's like, run, he's gonna take you. Develop the character a lot more so we can be into the action and root for his side. So overall, Twilight is alright. I was really hyped, so I gotta say it's disappointing, even though I wasn't all that excited for it. But it seems like some fans really like it. Didn't get all that good reviews from critics. I just gotta say, it's alright. It's really nothing to see. Overall, I'm gonna give Twilight a 5 out of 10. Here's some undiscovered footage of me and my friend outside of the theater. Our first reaction of the film.
And tell me, was Twilight as awesome as you thought it was going to be?
No, it wasn't. I thought it was, yeah, some good parts, not really funny.
I don't think it was supposed to be funny. Forget about the people laughing. What did you think about the film's quality?
I had a few good moments, pretty much at the end though, the fight scenes, but nothing else.
Did you dig the awesome romance?
Not really.
Did they have chemistry?
Vampire was cold and heartless. Oh, it was an emo girl.
Did the camera shaking because I'm so cold?
Would you like me to give you a hug? Do a quick cartwheel.
Don't do a cartwheel.
Why? Good footage.
The weird thing about the vampires in this movie was they didn't really do anything. They can fly and they can jump.
No, they actually didn't fly. It's like glided.
Yeah, they can like float lightly on pine tree branches.
So overall, I'm gonna see.